close to creativity is art or being artistic. I don't think everyone necessarily has that talent or that skill, but as an individual, as a human, we'll be faced with problems, and to get through, people will be creative and find a way. My name is Joseph Hofer, and I'm an industrial designer. I grew up on a farm about a half an hour from Kitchener-Waterloo. Life was quite simple, quite separate from referred to as the world, so we didn't have television or media, things like that. And I think that had a big part of who I am today. I think without hearing or seeing a lot of the negativity that was happening or the negative things that were happening in the world, I was very optimistic about life or about what I could be or the change that I could create in the world. Through the years, my early years, I focused on building things and making things. Whenever I went to town or to a store, and rather than wanting the object, I wanted to go home and make it. My mother, she was always kind, and she taught me how to be kind to others. My father was quieter, but I think I experienced his love through his actions and through his support, buying me tools that I might have the right tool for the job. He was a big believer in that. And I think tools really did inspire me to become a designer in some ways, looking back. As a young designer at BlackBerry, I had to really know why I was doing what I was doing, and what I realized is that the products that I was helping create helped build a sense of community, a sense of belongingness between people. It was at a time when it was becoming much easier to talk across continents and such with these devices, and I think that really inspired me and pushed me to do the daily task of actual designing. I knew I was helping create a sense of community. I love traveling. I love seeing other cultures and other ways of doing things. I love finding a coffee shop or a place to just sit and people watch. I find that fascinating. I'm more inspired by people than I am anything else. What I wish I would have learned earlier was to care less about what people thought of me, what people thought of what I did, and focus more on understanding why I did what I did. I realize there's a lot of common design principles and attributes that are in other design professions, architecture, interior design, and such, that translate into industrial design as well, but they just maybe show up a little bit different. Hierarchy, for instance, in graphic design is so important, but on a product level, it's almost related to like distance. What's the read at 10 feet away? Like, what would a product look like 10 feet away? What do you notice about the product? How big is it? What's the form factor or shape? But then as you come closer, you pick it up. Like, what's the weight? What's the how do the edges feel, or how does it fit into your hand? So often, or everything that I create is sort of someone interacts with, and understanding that relationship between a product and a person is really important. I think the empathy in designing something that is comfortable, something that's exciting, is really valuable. And then, when you get to the finest level of detail, like does the key squeak? Does the battery door squeak, for instance, or snap on, securely? Like all of those sort of very subtle or subconscious kind of experiences make up great product design. To me, I think a formula for success I've heard is that creativity plus risk equals success. It's one thing to have an idea, but it's another thing to believe in it and stand up for it and carry it through when others don't think you should. That's a risky part of it, believing in something that is quite different, but often that does lead to success. Getting back to a simpler place, or getting out into nature, back to the farm, just building something with my hands really inspires me, or unravels sort of my thinking a bit, and helps me approach it from a new perspective, for sure. The way I approach design or approach life is really trying to put people first, trying to understand what I can do as a creative to better others' lives, better humanity, leave the world in a better place than I entered it in. For me, it comes down to people. It's what connects everything I do. I try to put myself in their shoes as much as I can in terms of the people I'm designing for. I really feel that if we care for others and if we treat others the way we'd prefer to be treated, we'll make a difference. That is something that shaped how I design, why I design, and why I chose this profession, really.